So we'll call the meeting to order at 7:02 PM on July 15th. And we have Karen, Claire, myself, John, that's four. Lynn, Judy, so we can elevate Heidi in addition to replace Miranda. Or no, not Miranda.
Kate.
Kate. So we'll do that and we'll take a look at the agenda. Call to order. We did elevation of alternates if necessary. Matt is going to abstain from voting.
Yep, I, Matthew Belsey, the Park and Recreation Director, am abstaining from voting tonight.
So approval of agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda that anyone would like to make?
Lynn had something, right?
Yep. If Lynn, were you gonna add, but what's called Rufus is here, so it's just in case Rufus wasn't here, it was the
Yeah,
chair.
right.
Yep.
So
I would like to.
I was thinking the same thing, so I'm glad you asked the question. I was like, I just talked to Lynn about this on the weekend.
I didn't think Rufus was coming when I talked to you, Claire. Sorry.
The
What
only
was that?
thing,
I'd asked her to nominate me to be a temporary chair because we didn't have that on the agenda.
Oh,
So
yeah.
but
Thank you
we're all
for
good.
being willing to do that.
the only thing I would like to add is the addition of an additional dog obedience course in August, September, October under the item 8A, just adding another program, which is dog obedience course.
Okay. Any others? So can we have a motion to approve the agenda with the addition with Matt's addition?
So moved.
Second? I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Okay, approval of the June 17th regular meeting minutes, which were in our folder. Are there any questions about those?
I had a few that I shared with Matt.
Okay,
So this is kind of a question about how we want the minutes to reflect. We changed the order, the agenda order, and Marty actually talked right after the agenda approval, I believe, if I remember correctly. And in the minutes, it's put way further down in the agenda in the meeting. I don't know if we care. How it's reported out.
any reason why they're out of order, Matt?
I just kept it
The way it
kept
was?
it consistent with the agenda, so that's why I had it with the printed agenda, or the submitted agenda rather. But I can moving forward, I can move things up. If things are moved around, I'm happy to move things from where they're discussed on the agenda to reflect in the minutes in a different location, so that's more of a timeline.
Right. I think if we do move things around, we probably have to move the minutes to reflect that.
Yeah, we can do
I
that.
would think. So the whole basically bylaws discussion was moved.
Mhm.
So we should move that up to where I think that was after approval of the agenda, I think.
I think so
Yes.
too, yeah.
Uh,
the other issues I had was the motion to hire, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, Devoge Brown?
DeBoer's
that-
Brown.
Devoge Brown, it's duplicated, so it doesn't need to be in there twice. And under Slamma Jamma, the motion to approve the regional senior lunch is from the month before and needs to be replaced with the correct wording. And under the bylaws, Marty was asked to get a written response from the town attorney to the questions, and I think that's important to include in our minutes.
Right. Which we now have.
Right.
So the motion to approve the regional senior lunch,
That was the month before.
Right, so it should read Slamma Jamma.
right? And there was no money involved in
No, that was Slamma Jamma.
that motion. We just approved the,
Do our
Right.
minutes have to include the dates, or are we just approving the document that you're submitting to us, Matt?
I usually include, if I submit a document, I include it in the minutes as a scanned copy. But for Slamma Jamma, that one had the dates, that was August 12th through 16th. And it was just discussing how much it's gonna cost per child, which is $220.
I guess just moving forward, we should be consistent.
Yeah.
Like, is it just referring to the document? And then the date and all that detail would be in there? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm not opposed to however we want to phrase it. Or however we want to make the motions.
What do you guys think?
yeah, I don't know who would be going back over old minutes to see what we've done before.
I must be unusual because I do that all the time.
But I mean, it would be probably if somebody wanted to see, oh, Slamma Jamma, how much did it cost a few years ago? Then they might be going to the minutes. Do we make it easy for them, or do we have to?
I think if the minutes read that it's the name of the program with the dates included, and if there is a fee that we are expensing from our expense line item, I think that should be included in the motion, but otherwise I think for consistency reasons, let's just say if we approve a program that doesn't have any fee associated with it, let's say motion to approve the Emery Park Summit Hiking Club every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. from June 26th through August 20th. That could be the motion. I think that would be much more consistent because then it highlights what the program is, when it's happening, and the time frame that's associated with it.
Right.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So
I
let's do that moving forward.
Any other comments about the minutes? So do we have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Karen seconding.
Karen seconding? Or are you just pointing to your ceiling?
I'm seconding
Okay.
the,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining?
Do you want me to abstain or just say present?
Um,
Present.
were you at the meeting?
Nope.
No, I would just say abstain.
Okay, abstain. Meaning
Thanks.
present today. way I was gonna state it.
Because if you say present, maybe people will think that you were present at the meeting, but you're not voting.
Abstain.
Okay, Matt, you got all that?
Yep, got it all.
Okay. Moving forward, to correspondence, Bill Backrack has spoken out about the pool. Are we reading that out loud or not? Might as well,
It's
I
short.
guess, just for the record.
Sure.
Dear Matt and John, John Grant, John is quoted in the online Kent GTD saying that the swimming pool at Emery Park could become the jewel of Kent, quote unquote. Catherine Boughton is a polished editor, and I'm taking her June 21 GTD article as fact-based. I can't express strongly enough my appreciation and support for what each of you is doing to restore our town's swimming pool. To me, the current pool has long been the jewel of Kent, and I've often praised its clear and low chlorinated waters, its pollywogs and occasional snapping turtle, and the quiet wooded surroundings to townspeople and friends from outside. I've come to know and love more than one generation of lifeguards, usually arriving as the Camp Kent kids are being collected by their parents and staying until the rumble of thunder closes down the pool for the day. Please keep in touch and let me know how I can best support the repairs and reopening of the pool. If it takes until June 2025 to reopen, I will have turned 83, but expect to have at least several more years to swim Emery. Not essential currently, but I have sometimes driven down the drive to access the pool without the hill. Sincerely yours, Bill. Copy to Lynn and Marty. Okay. Aha. Okay, so the last paragraph is he's driven to the lower lot.
Mhm.
Okay.
Did you acknowledge it, Matt?
I wanted to present it to the commission first before acknowledging, so I wanted to read it as a group and then just discuss with you all upon acknowledgement of this, because I feel that it would be important as a department and a commission coming together with a response instead of just me responding as the entity. So this is one that I felt would be a commission level conversation. So I just wanted to seek approval from the commission to respond to this, thanking Bill for his correspondence and to say that we will reach out upon any sort of support and any sort of things that we may need, and maybe possibly meet Bill at Emery Park and have a conversation with him discussing what our plans are and to just hear more from him as to his experience with Emery Park.
And we can tell him also that we'll have a shovel with his name on it stored
Exactly.
down there.
And maybe just like a question, but it seemed, I mean, I love the idea of us having these letters read out, but I also feel like you should have some level of autonomy to be able to respond to these sorts of communication points as well. So I have no idea the rules of all of this, but it does strike me as I would hope that you'd be able to just respond to that kind of a nice email from Bill, who's lovely.
I
Even-
think it might be in the bylaws that I have to come in front of the commission for this.
Got it.
I think you have I think you have the ability to just acknowledge receipt though, and I think it's very important that town officials acknowledge receipt quickly. You could always follow up with another email after a meeting. But I mean, if you got an email at the beginning of the month or even the end of the month and there wasn't going to be another meeting for 3 or 4 weeks, I would hate for you to wait to acknowledge an email.
Yeah, no, this was a written letter, it wasn't an email. The one that
Well, even any kind of correspondence,
yeah.
Yeah.
it's the same
Usually
thing,
noted,
you know?
so, yeah,
Acknowledge that we've received it and that the commission will acknowledge it at, or will discuss it at its next meeting.
Maybe, yeah, but you don't even know if the commission's gonna discuss, so just to say,
Well, that's
we've received it and thank you very much. You're not gonna get in any trouble that way,
Right,
yeah.
that's true.
No, I just figured it would be best based on bylaws to bring in front, since it did say that any correspondence that something of this, level would be brought to the commission for discussion. And the response would be constructed with the commission and the park and rec director, so that's why I'm doing it. Just following the bylaws that we have right now. But no, definitely I can do that moving forward. I'm more than happy to send in an acknowledgement and then bring it up the next time that we have a meeting. More than happy to do that.
Good. Just looking, I mean, there's an Emery Park Subcommittee report where we'll talk a little bit about Emery Park, I imagine, further in the, it just reinforces the fact that there are people in Kent that miss Emery Park and what was there. So I think John has some things to say about Emery Park when we get to 11B, and we'll go from there. Do we want to, so we don't really need a motion to say that Matt needs to acknowledge correspondence. I don't think so. We'll keep moving on. Public comment. We do have people from the public. Does anybody want to comment at this time? No response.
Judy just put her camera on.
I did, but I just want to make sure that you know that I'm here, but this is
You
my
are
first
here.
time participating. This is my first time participating, so I just want to see what's going on, and I don't know.
Well,
Go ahead.
we usually have two places for public comment.
Mhm.
So if there's anything that's really, and we tend to be kind of loose, so if we are talking about something that you were specifically wanted to, that's on our agenda, we usually allow people to talk then, or you could use the public comment to say, I'm really here because I'm interested in the tennis court resurfacing, and I'd like to be able to chip in when you get there.
Thanks. I'm here about the dog park.
The dog park.
Yeah.
Which is not actually necessarily on our agenda tonight.
Oh, it's part of the
we did-
director's report.
We,
Oh.
yeah, it's in the director's report, possibly.
Okay, so I could find it online. I look for the stuff online before I get on the meetings, I guess.
When you go, yeah, online, like if you go to the website, there's always supporting documents.
Yeah, okay.
And then you can click on that and see what are the supporting documents for the director's report or whatever. We did bring it up at the last meeting to talk about the fact that there was interest to use the far part of the Kent Center School field. And we were gonna have somebody try to get a hold of the Kent Land Trust so that maybe there could be access during the school day, since that's at the far edge, if people wanted to use it, and we did do it. That's about as far as we got. But we did bring up the fact that there was interest in a dog park.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Any other, Lynn? At this time, nothing? All right, so Matt, on to you, director's report.
Sure. So just a few things. In addition to my report prior to tonight's meeting, I received a response from Kerma regarding a few things that I just want to quickly discuss that were not in my report. Dog park is one. I did reach out to Kerma to see if they would cover a dog park if we were to open, and they said Kermit does cover dog parks. However, if we decide to build one, they have a number of questions. And so what I feel is right now, while I field these questions, and once we field the location of it, because that was one of the questions, was specifically asking the location, the address of the dog park, what's the construction cost, will the dog park be fenced and gate? What rules and regulations would we have? And then if we have any specific questions regarding the development of dog parks, they can refer us to the management team for best practices and guidelines to follow. So I think it would be best if we firmly establish the location. I did speak to Melissa Trinisky with the land trust, and she said that we cannot have access from the land trust field, unfortunately, because they lease the property. So we could not.
Because they what?
They lease the property. So they would not be able to give us access with dogs to the backfield behind the school with Kent Center School Field. So we might have to explore another location for a dog park.
Well, we can do it after school, like 4 o'clock,
Right.
open it then.
I know some people had talked about using the back or a corner of the field south of town on the other side of South Common driveway as an idea. I don't know whether that was ever formally taken to the land trust. But that might be a possible close to town. And maybe more accessible all day long.
Good idea.
So we
I'll
should.
be totally honest, and
Hold on.
Rufus knows this, but as someone who had a child attacked by a dog, like the idea of a dog park at a school just is not,
Well, it would,
it's not
it
something
would
that seems like a good
be,
idea.
Claire, it was gonna be at the far end and it would have been a fenced area. So.
But it would still have lots of dogs going through. I mean, I assume you go to the back, you go through the parking lot and then you go back out to the fields, right?
True.
Like it, you'd
But
have the dogs
if
going
we-
from the school area out, so.
If we had done that, it would have had, hours of, it would be restricted to non-school hours. And
I
then-
would be concerned about the school being required then to tell people to leave. That's a security, you're risking a security setup for the school and putting an additional burden upon them.
No, it would be after 4 o'clock. Yeah.
Right, but who's gonna tell somebody to leave, I guess is the question. Somebody shows up with their dogs at 2 o'clock, the schools, then their security system needs to go out and say, this isn't for public access right now. Just having lived in a school community at being a retired teacher, security around your building is just always in everybody's
Yeah,
Right.
that's great.
mindset.
Great. Listen, I was gonna tell you that most of the people that do the dog walking, they show up at 4 o'clock and they go home about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So they know what the routine is with the school.
But what about those that don't? And
Right.
how are you gonna properly educate them, which that would be a department task working on the
Well, they
operation,
already,
educate
already-
the population. But at the same time, what about those that, if you build it, they will come. We build it and people are there during the school hours and it's enticing people to come during the school hours. I can see the hesitation with the construction on that property. Plus, I don't know if we can permanently build a structure there because of the lease.
The fact that. I mean, some people have said that's where they want to walk their dogs and they do it after the 4 o'clock, but. I know when my dog was a puppy, there were other people with puppies and stuff that wanted to walk and meet someplace in the mornings. You know, that's where their schedule allowed them to take their dogs out and socialize. So I think if we do it, we should find a place that has greater flexibility in hours.
Maybe that's what we should, I don't know if you have to make a motion or whatever, but to explore different areas in the town that could be accessible for a dog park. Instead of trying to come up with that ourselves.
I
Like,
agree. I'll second that if you want, Karen.
Yeah, I guess to me, we're just going, around and around, and maybe we just need to find out what's available.
Yeah, maybe it's a conversation with the land trust of what are pieces of land that could be options to frame it a different way.
Well,
think
even the
that's-
selectmen, even
Yeah,
Marty.
totally,
I
totally.
mean,
Even like the different landowners in town, right?
mhm. Planning and zoning. I mean, there's, so maybe that should be a motion.
what, to make it more simple, I'll take on the task of exploring properties in town to see where we can have the dog park. I'll first explore town-owned properties, and if nothing's, I'll present those at the next meeting, and if nothing seems like a viable option, then we'll go ahead and look at other properties and possibly moving forward with a partnership in order to have the dog park at another location. I just do hesitate on having the dog park at another location other than a town-owned property, because I feel that we would have to go through not only our insurance, but the other property owners' insurance as well. So there could be some limitations in creating the dog park with having the partnership and the co-owned or the co-hosted dog park on a separately owned parcel. But I'm happy to do the exploration, and I'm happy to report back to the commission on what I find.
I
I
don't
would
think,
wonder about like
I
the
think you
land
should-
that's where you do the farmer's market, and then across the street where there's the town farm, like those are both very on that main road, but pretty close in, could be another option.
I don't know if those would be options. I know the one across the street that is leased, and then the one that they do the farmer's market on, I know that the land trust does try to use it as a viable space to have just the events and everything going on. And I don't know if they would want to build fence on it, but I can ask the land trust about that location. Yeah,
I think we also should look at Emery Park. I mean, it's a big park. There may be a small place that, and you want to encourage use of the park, so.
It's too dangerous. There's wild animals there. There's a bear, there's a cougar now. And
Yeah,
there's
but
all
the more
Go.
people use it, the more the wild animals may not want to hang out as much,
Oh,
so.
no, they're still there, believe me.
Well,
but
it's a
an
fenced in
idea.
area, John. If it's gonna be a fenced in area, there's some safety there.
Well, maybe we shouldn't have the pool there.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
I think the Emery Park is the only town property, town-owned property that a dog park could go on. I don't think, Matt, you really have to look further than that. The town doesn't own enough land in Kent to put a dog park anywhere.
I think there might be some liability at Commons, just knowing how the parcel looks and what the parcel has to offer. But I'm gonna explore both Commons and Emery, and I'll report back to the commission with some recommendations next meeting.
All right.
So I guess we should withdraw the motion in the second.
Yeah, I don't think we need a motion for this.
No, this is just.
But we're not at a point where we're still exploring. I think that's where we're at with the dog park. So anyhow, thank you, Judy, for bringing this up.
Sure. Where am I?
Go ahead, Matt.
Sure, and just 3 more very short things to add in.
Right.
Or 4 more, on the same topic of Kerma. I did reach out to them about using the activity bus and getting insurance from Kerma for the school so that we can use the activity bus. And they did say that they would be able to provide us with proof of insurance. However, they do have some questions that I'll be responding to in regards to how often the activity bus will be used, what would it be used for, and will we have any contractor agreement in place between the town and the Board of Ed? So I'm gonna work with Marty
Hello,
and go ahead and see what we can do to provide
Nala.
that information.
Hold on, Sheila.
Judy, you're interrupting. Can you go on mute,
Just a
please?
second. Mina.
Matt, can you mute her?
Judy, I'm gonna mute you.
Thank you.
So I'll work with Marty. This information came in recently from Kerma, so I am glad that I have this information. I wish I had this in my report. I wish this came in much sooner, but they were able to get it to me after a couple weeks, which is very nice that I finally have this info and I can present it to you guys. So I'll be working with Marty on that, getting that moving forward so we can go ahead and start using the activity bus to
I
transfer
would,
programs and other things that we have going on. So
I think we need to include the senior center activities.
yes.
So that would be something that, get social services involved in that discussion, because they also could take advantage of an activity bus use.
But we
Absolutely.
don't want to limit it to only seniors, right? Because we could do a trip, we could do a day trip. And have a 50-year-old join the
Oh,
day
we
trip.
could, but
Yeah.
I mean, the
No, I'm just,
conversation would be, I think it would be important because seniors may want to also use the school activity bus if it's possible.
yeah, I agree.
If we're getting permission to, they might want to too, for their own reasons. I agree. We don't want to close down the bus through ages or anything like that, but okay.
Do we have to have a motion that or are you gonna do the investigation and then come back to us and ask for a motion? Because we've talked about this, but I don't think we've ever made a motion.
We've never made a motion. It was just a discussion, and as the department, I took the directive to investigate this since I found it was a pressing issue. I don't know if we need a motion since it's the department investigating something. I would think we'd need a motion to maybe, once we get all the information, accept that we'll be using the activity bus. I'd rather have all the information present and then present that we can use it and we're all set and good to go, and then have the commission say we can use it, unless this is an operations thing, and then we don't need a motion.
But what if I'm just playing devil's advocate, because I've seen how town departments work. What happens if you go to the school board or Michelle and she says, well, Park and Rec hasn't voted on this? Is it gonna be that, is that part of the next step?
I would say that'd be part of the next step.
Yeah, I think we should vote.
Yeah, we can vote it. Absolutely. So I
Yeah,
think we get
that
all
would-
the information from Kerma and they're able to give us proof of insurance, I would say then we vote on it, unless you want to vote prior to getting proof of insurance.
I think that it's a concept vote, that the commission is in favor of the idea of using a bus that's owned by Kent Center School. That's all I'm saying, is because and then you can keep investigating, and then when somebody says, has the commission voted on this, you can say, yeah.
Yeah, if that's.
Is
that
is the bus-
Go ahead.
Is the bus owned by Kent Center School or is the bus owned by the town?
Kent Center.
Technically, both. I mean, it's part of the school. Kent taxpayers pay for both, so
But it's under the control of the school.
It's under control of the school.
And right
So-
now, those that use it have to be insured by the school, or they have to provide proof of insurance. From
I
another
mean,
entity.
I think, I don't think we have to vote, Lynn, in the sense that all we're doing is trying to find out if we can use it through Kerma, and then once we get that, we want to approach the school with, and at that point, we can vote.
Yeah, I know, but I was just trying to make it easy on Matt, so he'd have that he'd have it in the bag, so. Whatever, it's up to the commission what they want to do,
Yeah. Well, either
but I'm
one.
sure that's gonna be one of the first questions. What do you want to use it for, and has the commission already expressed support for this?
Yeah.
Cause we don't want to leave Matt out there on his own. It's by having a vote, then the commission is endorsing the concept.
Should we just quickly have a vote? I feel like we're spending more time discussing whether we
I
have a
know.
vote than voting. I would motion to vote to it demonstrate our support of this idea of us using the school bus.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of demonstrating our support?
I-
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention?
What about? You're gonna have to put a monthly thing on there as far as like, rather than during the school years.
What
So
are you
you run-
talking about?
So, I mean, so it'll be available to us for June through August?
Well, if the school allows us to use it, then
Theoretically, yeah.
we'd probably have a better chance of using it when they're not in session than when they
Right,
are.
right.
Or what about on a Saturday? A
Or
day
evening.
trip to go somewhere on a Saturday?
I mean, obviously, there's gotta be, once we get permission, if they give it to us, it would be to, there's gonna be limitations. They have first right. They've got that bus for
Right.
school-related purposes.
Right.
So if we want to schedule a trip to Audubon or something like that, we'd have to check with the school when it's available. That kind of thing. So that'll just be in the cooperation and coordination between Matt and the school's front office.
And it sounds like there's gonna need to be a written agreement, so.
Right. I mean, you know, it's like we'd have to come up with some sort of a
Schedule.
schedule or process that we would agree with and the school would agree with to being able to use it. Okay. Keep going, Matt.
Sure. Still on the Kerma topic, just two more from Kerma and then one more thing following it. I did reach out to Kerma asking about the rule of having dogs on the trail at Emery Park. Kerma does not see an issue with allowing dogs on the trails so long as they remain on a leash at all times. This will not impact liability insurance that the town currently has in place. So if we were to have dogs on the trail at Emery Park, they would have to be leashed. I did follow up with a question regarding if they're allowed near the swimming area, and I asked that if we would have to follow a policy similar to what state parks do, where dogs are not allowed near swim areas from April 15th through September 30th. And they're gonna follow up and get back to me on that. But just to put it to note that dogs are allowed on the trails on leash and it does not impact our insurance. So if that is something, if that is the direction the commission department would like to take
else come back in, or you just?
I think so. I'm just gonna keep adding people back in. Hi, everyone. We lost power at town hall. So I think we're waiting for a few more folks to join. Keep adding people when you see that. Thank you. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the flashlights.
Where's your waiting room? Under the participant?
Should say.
Or you
Yep,
take
just
it
hit that
from
X right there.
This one.
Yep, that small X. Perfect. Those are all the participants.
Did you guys lose power?
We lost power.
Yeah, we
Yes.
lost power completely. Rufus, can you hear us?
We can't hear you.
John, we can kind of hear you.
Oh, good. How many people are on the board?
Yeah, we have some folk on. So it's good to know that some folk are able to make it back on.
You still have a quorum?
Not yet. We're still waiting for more people to come back on.
Okay.
I just plugged in.
Looks like it's gonna be out for a while.
Yeah.
Just got a message from Eversource.
What's it say?
It says, we have power lines down. So, about
They're
it.
so helpful, aren't they?
Well, you know, they're getting the big bucks.
Let's see if I can increase the volume. I think it's him.
Oh no, it's my
It was
volume.
you.
Yeah, I think that might be better now.
Karen,
guess
did
nobody
you
else
lose
picked up
power?
Well,
No.
that would be these guys right here.
See if I can hear right.
Did you, Lynn?
Yeah.
Let me go check in on Therese. Hey, we're in the middle of a meeting and we lost power. Yeah, we lost internet and everything, so we're using my hotspot. Smart. Yeah. Glad I have. Linus.
I like using when have the green flashing and the red flashing. I wear two of them, one behind me and one in front of me when it's nighttime.
Smart.
Other people probably can't come on because they don't have power.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah,
Rufus
Claire and Rufus are both north of town like I am, so. Is there anything, a must that you need to have voted on, Matt? I mean, we do have, with Heidi, we have 4 people. We could vote on something if there's something you have to have voted on.
Sorry, that beeping is going to be the power supply box that's behind my desk. So it's actually powering my computer right now.
There was one
So-
thing that I had brought up when I was speaking with Matt is that I noticed in the agendas, I was kind of going through and just trying to get my head around what's part of what's our role versus what's somebody else's one, and it's on the agenda. It's for him to have to request a month ahead of time to have a day off, and that's on the agenda here. As a professional, I would like him to have the ability to request his time off. Things happen it happens with all of us, rather than if it's a paid day off, unpaid day off, or whatever it might be, if he could go through the selectmen or another process and then just let us know what time he has taken off of him, what his contract is. I hate to see him miss out on an opportunity or a responsibility in his life simply because we haven't had a chance to meet in a month.
Yeah, we talked about that last month.
Yeah, we did talk about it last month. I talked to Ty, so what she does is she connects with both of the chairman of the two commissions she reports to. They sign off on the time off request and then Marty signs off on it. So if that's the route we feel is the most comfortable, I'm okay with going that route too, just so that it makes sense.
Yeah, I think if that's how planning and zoning's dealing with it, I think in the land use office, I think it makes sense to follow in that same footsteps. What do you guys think, John and Karen?
I'm okay with it. You need to pass,
Fine by me.
vote.
Yeah.
Can I tell you
Um,
what we used to do, just so you have history?
Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
It was very simple. If the director needed time off and it was near a meeting time, and there was time, to sign off on it, then the chairman would sign off on it at the meeting. If there was not time, then the first selectman would sign off on it. So if you need something, at the beginning of the month, you need it, weeks before, you don't have to wait. You can just go to the first selectman. That's how we historically have done it.
Awesome.
Thanks for
Thank you,
sharing
Lynn.
that, Lynn. But I do
Yes.
like the idea of going with sort of the precedence of the land use office. I mean, in terms of operations, there's similarities there. I'm happy to make a motion to that effect, so we have it on the record. If you want that, Matt, or if you just want consensus, what would you prefer?
Okay. No, that's okay. Actually, the camera's still going on the TV instead of over here. I think.
Wait,
my phone
okay, there we
is-
go.
Oh, that's okay.
I know, I was like trying to see if anybody else is coming in at the same time.
Genuinely, I think a motion might be impactful just so that we have it.
Okay.
So maybe,
So I'll make a motion that, oh, did we lose you? Nope, there you are. I'll make a motion that, Park and Rec, the Park and Rec director will, get a sign off from the chairman and, the first selectman when requesting paid time off.
Second.
Sarah, I'll second that.
And I'll just jump in and say, all those in favor?
What
Aye.
is, what do you have,
John?
Lynn?
Are
What
you
do we have
voting
in
in
the, Can you hear me?
Yeah, what do we
Hello?
have in the bylaws? I don't know. I'm standing out at my front door. I don't think it is covered in the bylaws, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Is it, Matt?
no, because that'd be more of an operations thing. That's
Rufus
fine.
Rufus is pulling into my front drive.
Oh, perfect. Rufus is joining the call.
Oh, hi.
So I lost everything.
Yeah, so did we.
Work. Teamwork there.
I don't know. But we just,
We're making it work at town hall, Rufus. We have
and Claire's not on either, so it's
backup
probably,
battery and
so it's probably all of North Kent. Here we are.
yep, backup battery and
Hey, hey.
hotspot. So we're doing good. Rufus, to cover, we just discussed
Can
my
you hear
time
us
off.
now?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
I wonder if I can get on.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, so taking care of that, you're gonna have to sign off on his paid time off with Marty. That's what it's the same thing that Ty and,
Oh, is there another one?
What, as they're
well,
doing that.
Ty, that's how Ty does it. He does the chairman.
So, yeah, okay. So I did the last.
Everything be what I'm requesting.
We have more.
Lynn, you might just out of genuine care, if you turn off your camera, it'll help with the conversation, because what's happening is when you're moving, it's lagging a little bit on our end when we hear you talk, just because it's using more
data to use your camera. So just a heads up, not doing it because I want you to turn off the camera, but.
Okay.
Lynn Harrington says, Chris is asking if anyone needs a generator. So if anyone needs a generator, contact Chris and Lynn. Thank you, Lynn, for reaching out with that one. We appreciate it, and thanks for supporting the community.
Somebody's breaking up.
Rufus, you're breaking up.
Is there, Matt, what else do you need us to?
The approval of the programs, the approval of dog obedience, and then just the commission's blessing to pursue the RFPs or the RFP for the tennis court. The other ones we can wait on a little bit or call a special meeting if needed. So it's just the programs and the RFP for the tennis court.
So moved.
So is the motion to approve the programs that were submitted plus the dog obedience and requesting an RFP for the tennis court resurfacing per the director's report?
Great.
Hang on one second. Rufus is joining the call.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it since I'm the only one that's unmuted right now.
No, you're not.
We have Rufus joining. Just give one moment. So, motion. Karen by Heidi.
Hello?
Rufus, you've joined?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Karen just made a motion to approve the programs that were submitted plus a dog obedience course that will take place on Wednesdays from October, or this part was not included, but this is just going to be an amendment that I'm going to make a recommendation to, from August 28th through October 2nd at Kent Commons Park on Wednesdays, and then the approval to pursue an RFP for the tennis court resurfacing per the conversation in the director's report.
So that has nothing to do with the splash pad?
Nope. I just think that right now splash pad and drainage are something that we can take off for the current situation that we are in with no power.
I think we have to have further conversation about the splash pad.
Mm-hmm. And drainage as well. I think that we can have a further conversation about that.
So can we vote? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed?
Hold on. Whoa.
Hold on. Go ahead, Rufus.
Lynn's trying to ask a question, so there's
I agree.
no vote yet.
Which Lynn?
Lynn
Worthington.
Worthington. Do we get to see the RFP before it goes out?
For the tennis court? Yeah, absolutely. That will be presented to the
Okay.
commission prior to it going out. So I think we might need to call a special meeting for that to go out, but
Okay.
I can write an RFP based on what I wrote in my director's report.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we get to see it. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. Happy to share that and then get the commission's approval to pursue it. So, yeah.
Yeah, just to pursue it, and I'll come in and talk to you.
Okay. So out of curiosity, with the motion that was on the table, does it still stand, or do we need to amend it to delete the tennis court resurfacing?
Whatever you think's best.
I don't understand what you're asking about.
The motion on the table is to approve the new programs and events the dog park, or not, sorry, the dog obedience course, and then pursuing an RFP for the tennis court resurfacing. But since the commission is asking for me to present it prior to submitting it, I think that we need to omit that from the motion. So just.
No,
approval of
I
all
think
three.
I think you should pursue it. I just think we should see it before it goes out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So we can go forward on the vote for you to pursue that.
Awesome. Sounds good to me.
Now, I think
Now
we're,
we can,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, now we're ready to vote if you don't have any other discussion points.
Right.
Karen, do you accept the amendments to the motion?
Sure, yes.
Heidi, do you accept the amendments?
I accept, what do I have to say? Make a motion to accept?
Nope,
The
you just say
amendment to-
accept the amendments. You can just say that.
Okay, accept the amendments.
Perfect.
I'll second that. The amendment being simply to present the written documentation prior to it going out.
Perfect.
Now can we vote? Okay.
Now we can vote.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain? No? Okay,
I'm done with everything else. So Rufus, if you want to move to a motion to adjourn, unless you want to go through public comment.
I think with this, we should probably adjourn. It's too complicated.
Yes.
Can I just
This
ask?
must be, I think, an entire town wide or regional or what? Oh, the Hollow has, that's.
yes, for once, the Hollow has power. For once.
Just that you mentioned that there might need to be a special meeting in between now and next time. Can we set a date and a time prior to adjourning now so that it's agreed upon?
We could try to do that.
Next Monday, same time, same place.
So what? Matt, when would you want a special meeting, do you think?
Next Monday, same time, same place.
Sorry, didn't hear you.
Next Monday, same time, same place.
Next Monday,
I'm traveling.
I can't do it.
I can send out a doodle.
I can't do it either.
If you
Okay.
send out a doodle, people need to
If
respond.
you send out a doodle, people need to respond, though. Doesn't help if people don't respond.
The only evening next week that I'm free would be Friday, and that, even then, that's not a good night to do it.
No. I'll send out a doodle and we'll go from there.
Okay,
All right, perfect.
so
Motion
I guess we should have a motion to adjourn.
Yep.
Yes.
At 8:01.
Well, enjoy your evening, everyone.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
right.
Thank
Too.
you.
If you need anything, reach out.
Well,